And
were you performing at all during this time?
Oh yeah, always.
So what kind of things were you performing? How were you? In what situations were you performing?
Well, whenever I am fortunate, like whenever
where does a 10-year-old go to perform his?
Well, at church.
Rap teams.
I did my grandmother's funeral, which is a true story. Well, when I was 8, my grandmother died, and she was really important to me. Like that hit me kind of hard. But after the funeral, all the people went to the other room of the church, but they left the microphone on, and so I went up and I was just like, tap 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 tap. Like doing the whole thing, and I started rapping, and I was doing stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy was always really big to me too.
Was there anyone in the room?
There were like the other kids were just playing in the room, but then once I started doing that, like adults started being like, "What is that?" And they would come in, and pretty soon it fell back up again. And I did a show. Like I sat there and performed a show at this funeral, and like I rapped and sang and told jokes.
Do you remember any of the jokes? Stand-up.
Well, I couldn't do my Richard Pryor jokes. Those are my favorite jokes. You couldn't. I wasn't allowed to talk like that, especially not in church in a room full of people. But Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby were like my two big ones. And I later on became a really big George Carlin fan, and became a really huge Bernie Mac fan. But
so you were doing their routines. Were you writing?
I did Bill Cosby routines. Yeah, because I would try to do the Richard Pryor ones. I remember specifically I tried to do a Richard Pryor one, and I got to a part where you just couldn't do it. It just didn't translate without doing the cussing. So, but that was one of my shows, talent shows, and I would throw shows at recess. I would say that today at recess, Leroy thinks he can rap. Today at recess, I'm gonna crush him. He'll never rap again. It's like 9 years old. You know what I mean? And Leroy don't even show up. Like, fuck that mess, man.
Were you making flyers and stuff?
No, I wasn't making flyers, but I was getting the word out. I was my own street team. Like everybody knew. Trust me. All the people that needed to know, all the girls, and the dudes that I needed to know I could rap, they all would know. And then as I got older, and I would like switch schools a lot. So I'd find, like battling was always the way, because you can't just walk up to a new school and be like, and they're like, oh, you're fat and you're an albino. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'd be like, yeah, but I rap. You can't just do that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I would find the best. I would just kind of look and listen and learn and see who thought they could rap. Because I was like, I guarantee that this son bitch is not, what do you, oh yeah. Okay, so this was, all right, we switched schools one year and my mom decided nobody has to know you're albino. Bless her soul, my mother's gone now. She really tried to help me figure my shit out. But she just didn't have the tools for it, you know what I mean? To really understand like how to look and be so different and make, and still be okay with the rest of society, you know what I mean? She tried her best to help. She just had never really had to deal with something like that, you know what I mean? So she tried though. And one year she had me grow my hair out and dyed my hair blonde to try to like, yeah. Actually, every time I see pictures like that, that was a really sad time in my life, man. Like those were probably some of the darkest times I had, is when I was dyeing my hair, trying to pass, you know what I mean? Trying to not be what I was. But you still see, like, look at how I'm wearing my hat, man. Like, just how Jay-Z wears his hat now. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, fuck these people, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, y'all can suck my dick. Like, that was the first day of school. So I'm like, that's the first day of school. I'm in a brand new place. I don't know anybody. I'm going to school, and I look like this. But I'm like, man, I'm the shit. And it's because of rap. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I'd find whoever thought they could rap, and they would just be playing around. Like, the way that I was saying Houdini songs 5 years prior, that's what they're still doing. You know what I mean? But they're saying Run DMC songs. And I'm like, man, I've been writing my own songs. And I make my own recordings and everything. And so I'd find whoever thought they were the best rapper and just annihilate them. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I knew everything that was important. I knew all the music that was out that was important. And so if they would try to, because one thing that you could do back then is say somebody else's rhymes, because you know, little kids, they don't hear all the music. So if there's a new Run DMC song, you can go say it at school, and if nobody's ever heard it before, they think you made that up. And I would find that there was like, we used to call that biting and perpetrating, and like, that was the cardinal sin in rap, was biting and perpetrating, man. That was the worst sin that you could commit in rap. And so dudes I would go in and you know, I'd be like, man, I heard you think you could rap, man, what's up? And they'd be like, yeah, and I'm like, man. And I would just launch into it. And they'd be like, all right, it's your turn. And they'd be like, I'm the king of rock. And I would just start rapping it with them. Bah! Like, fuck, like, try again, man. That's Run DMC. I heard that tape, yo. Do you know how good that feels? Like, nah, man. Your whole catalog is bitten, man. Yeah, your whole catalog is bitten. My catalog is written.
So did you start?
I'm the, what I say? I had a line like that. Your whole catalog is bitten. My catalog is written by me. You were just only bullshitting, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
So was freestyling involved at this point at all? Were you trying that out at all?
A little bit, not really, not really. That's a thing that like certain. It used to be either you could write or you could freestyle. This idea of MCs doing both is really kind of new in terms of, we're talking about late 80s, you know what I mean? Like guys like Busy B would like, they had, like, he stole other people's rhymes, and he would pay other rappers to write for him, like this kid Spoonie G used to write for him. And so he would just kind of, he would have like little 8-bar patterns that were written when he would get on the mic. This is Busy B, like famous rapper from like late 70s, early 80s, like 82 is probably like his height of his career. And so he would get on the mic and do mainly written pieces, but then in between there he would freestyle. You know what I mean? So, and that's where a lot of the, and almost everybody would say they're written rapping, and they would fall into yes, yes, y'all, to the beat, y'all, freak, freak, y'all, so complete, y'all. And they would have like different variations of that, of yes, yes, y'all. Like that would always go into something else, you know what I mean? But it was kind of like it's kind of in the vein of freestyling. But if you could write, you said you're written raps. And if you couldn't, then you just freestyle all the time. But the idea of doing both, it came later when MCing started, the philosophy of MCing started to grow. You know what I mean? And to where you wanted to start being the well-rounded MC. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I started doing that. But I really always felt like being prepared was better. Mm-hmm. And so, but I had a verse for every situation that could come up.